The Star Wars galaxy was home to all manner of animal life, much of which was vicious and generally unpleasant to encounter. One of the most memorable of such creatures was the Acklay, a vicious insectoid monster native to Vendaxa. Acklay were first featured in Attack of the Clones, in which one served as an arena beast on Geonosis, but some of you might remember them more from Battlefront 2, in which a pack of them terrorized the men of the 501st on Felucia. In this video, we'll be looking at the Acklay in detail, discussing why they were such a nightmare to fight. Acklays were a vicious species of insectoid apex predators that frequently saw use as gladiatorial arena beasts. Contrary to popular belief, they were native to neither Geonosis nor Felucia, though they had been artificially integrated into the environments of both worlds. They actually evolved on Vendaxa, a harsh planet in the expansion region that lay near the Corellian Run. They were frequently exported to other worlds as curiosities, since their extraordinary viciousness and deadly hunting skills made them some of the fiercest predators in the entire galaxy. They were far from the only creatures of their kind on Vendaxa, however. Vendaxa had one of the densest ecosystems in the galaxy, which gave rise to a wide variety of nasty predators and other unusual creatures. This might have been a partly official development. In the years before the Republic, Vendaxa was under the control of the Infinite Empire, and the Rakata were known for engineering the environments of worlds to produce such creatures. Either way, the Acklay caught the eye of the Rakata, and they even brought some back to Lehon, their home world, beginning a long tradition of exporting Acklays from the world. Acklay colonies became entrenched in Lehon's ecosystem, and they ended up outliving the Rakata themselves. The star that Vendaxa orbited bathed the planet in harsh light during the day, and so much of its native fauna relied on other methods of sensing prey rather than sight. Many, including the Acklay, developed electroreceptive organs to supplement their limited eyesight, which allowed them to pick up on electromagnetic signals from other creatures. Vendaxa was a world of jungles, plains, and oceans, each of which boasted a variety of faunal species. The oceans featured many kinds of fish, while the plains were home to leathery, shelled lemni, and the jungles hosted a vast array of vicious predators. The Acklay evolved to be able to hunt and eat all of the above. Acklays were a sort of amphibious crustacean, and while their appearance might have suggested otherwise, they actually lived primarily underwater. That said, they were perfectly capable of living on land for extended periods of time, and as their primary food source, the lemni, was land-based, they were frequently seen out of water on Vendaxa, and on other worlds they often adapted to life on land as well. Adaptability, as a matter of fact, was a hallmark of their species, a strength that allowed colonies of Acklays to flourish on worlds with climates as diverse as Geonosis, Lehon, and Felucia. Due to the conditions on Vendaxa, Acklays had poor eyesight despite having 3 eyes, and they instead depended on an organ called the silphum, which allowed them to pick up on electromagnetic signatures. They also compensated for their nearsightedness by being extraordinarily aggressive. It took next to nothing to provoke one into a fight, even if you weren't their usual prey, and once an Acklay started a fight, it wouldn't stop until either it or its victim were dead. This made them a perennial favorite in gladiatorial arenas. Acklays were naturally well armored as well. They had chitinous shells in some places, which some beings harvested for armor due to their durability, while other parts of their bodies were protected by thick, leathery skin or bony crests. This natural armor protection was comprehensive, and anyone attacking an Acklay with anything less than a lightsaber had to aim for the creature's joints to have any chance of wounding it. The Acklay's durability was a primary factor in how these creatures managed to top Vendaxa's food chain. Acklays had 6 legs, each ending in sharp, chitinous points that served well as weapons. Their front 2 legs also featured powerful claws, which they used as their primary weapons. Acklay attacked by moving quickly and aggressively toward their prey and using their claws to trap it, allowing them to rend their poor victims to shreds with grills of sharp teeth. When they couldn't trap their victims, they stabbed or slashed at them with their claws, seeking to wound them to make them easier to pin and eat. Acklays had high metabolisms, which allowed them to expend extraordinary amounts of energy rather quickly. However, they also had relatively small stomachs, and while they could expand them to accommodate for larger meals, this, combined with their metabolism, meant that they starved quickly. This, of course, was another factor that made them favorable for use in arena combat. They could easily be made ravenous and thus more aggressive, resulting in a better show for the audience. It should be said that some Acklays were apparently force sensitive. This mutation was extremely rare, but also extremely dangerous. Some force-sensitive Acklays were able to teach themselves to use the Force, with disastrous consequences for their prey. In some cases, such Acklays developed the abilities to shoot Force lightning from their mouths. Yes, this is canon, though it only appeared in one source, and we can't help but question the sanity of the author. All of these factors combined to make the Acklay an extraordinarily deadly creature, a hunter of unparalleled prowess that was a staple in arenas across the galaxy. Watching an Acklay in combat was a mesmerizing display, as proven by the following clips. By the time of the Clone Wars, Acklays were prized by collectors of murderous beasts across the galaxy. While it's unknown whether Vendexa harbored a permanent colony, it was nonetheless frequented by hunters seeking to capture Acklays to turn a profit. During the Clone Wars, the Vendexa system was located in separatist space, and Acklays had become a staple of trading between the CIS's megacorporations, and the Geonosians as well were quite fond of the vicious creatures. Like many droid-making species, the Geonosians accepted alternatives for credits as payment for shipments of battle droids, and among the alternatives they accepted were vicious beasts for use in their arenas. A number of Acklays made their way to Geonosis in this manner, some of which ended up escaping captivity and forming colonies out in the wild. The Acklays inserted themselves into the Geonosian ecosystem and, in many ways, dominated it. Their only predators on Geonosis were the Murdeath, massive armored creatures that could devour pretty much everything. But Murdeath were rare, so Acklays flourished in Geonosis' barren wilderness. The vicious creatures even managed to wipe out several Geonosian hives, burrowing their way into the catacombs and feasting on worker drones. Despite the danger posed by such creatures, however, the Geonosians continued importing them due to their use in the arenas, where they were often released against willing combatants and prisoners alike. One such Acklay was unleashed against Obi-Wan Kenobi shortly prior to the Battle of Geonosis. It was killed in the opening stages of the battle. But Geonosis wasn't the last appearance of the Acklay in the Clone Wars. After witnessing their effectiveness on Geonosis, the Commerce Guild imported several to Felucia, their headquarters. When the Republic invaded Felucia near the end of the war, Shumei ordered the Acklays to be starved and then released into the jungles. The result was absolute carnage. Whole units of clones were wiped out by the Acklays alone, and even the 501st Legion struggled to deal with a group of the creatures when they arrived to take control of the operation there. So that's the story of the Acklay, the vicious arena beast from Attack of the Clones that wreaked havoc on unprepared clones on Felucia. But what do you think? Do you, like me, still have flashbacks of trying to desperately gun those buggers down before they could shred you in Battlefront? Make sure you let us know in the comments section below. And just before you go, if you still want to play Star Wars games, then make sure you check out our Geetsly's Gaming Network, where you can join us on our Gary's mod and on our Roblox. And if you just want to chat Star Wars, you can join our main Discord server. And if you want to help support the channel more than you already are by watching this video, please do check out the Patreon. We've got a pretty cool reward that allows you behind the scenes access, and you can pretty much see everything we do and how we do it. Anyways guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.